All right, so set pieces against Liverpool this season have been a bit of an issue, and I think an interesting part of this that's been coming out and been getting a lot of publicity over the past few days especially is the time wasting that's associated with all of these long set pieces that have been delivered, the long throws, the corners in general, just a lot of time wasting going on with set pieces and not that much time being added on given the amount of time the ball is out of play. And when you think about all the other potential time wasting opportunities that opponents have, you've obviously got the substitutions. You're supposed to add 30 seconds on per substitution, but when you add that onto all the time wasting from set pieces, it actually contributes to having a lot less football being played, and it, I think, in my opinion, impacting the state of the game. Jamie Carragher has been talking about this, especially during the Brentford game. I thought it was particularly prolific in terms of time wasting. When you think you're trying to chase a game and Brentford are being allowed to have a throw-in that takes 1 minute every throw-in, it's pretty insane because it wastes a lot of time, it breaks up a lot of momentum of the game, and in general is just something that I think needs to be looked at in terms of time wasting. I think there was a stat going around on Twitter at the minute, or X, or whatever you want to call it these days. I still call it Twitter because I'm old. But there's a stat going around that Brentford, they took on average 53 seconds per long throw-in, and they had 10 long throw-ins against Liverpool, which really did break the game up in a lot of ways. And I think when you only give the goalkeeper 8 seconds when they've got the ball in their hands, I think it's interesting. I think it's something that people need to look at because, in my opinion, we're wasting a lot of playing time on basically restarting the game. There's lots of times where free kicks and throw-ins, they can take upwards of minutes, and it really breaks the game up, and it leads to basically a worse experience for fans from one perspective, and also, in my opinion, it worsens the state of the game in general in terms of being able to watch the football being of a certain type and caliber, being able to break the game up by going, I'll just take a minute to take a long throw-in. It's pretty incredible, really, when you think, when people are taking short throw-ins, the referee, after about 10 seconds, usually just urges them on to actually take the throw-in. But for some reason against Brentford, the referee just allowed Brentford to have these huge long throw-ins and to take a long, long time over them as well. In my opinion, I think there should be a cap on the amount of time if we're not going to just stop the clock, which is also something that I'm interested in, by the way. In rugby, when the ball goes out of play, they just stop the clock, so there's no time wasting. You play 80 minutes of the ball being in play, and if you don't, then you just keep playing basically until the time goes down. Is that rugby? I'm pretty sure that's rugby, or is that American football? In either instance, I think if there's going to be this much prolific time wasting in the game, and the amount of time that the ball is out of play in matches is pretty severe, then we need to be looking at doing something about it, in my opinion. I think there's teams that have definitely used this against Liverpool to their advantage as well. I think Galatasaray is the game that springs to mind for me. I mean, the ball was in play for like 15 minutes of the second half out of 45 minutes plus added time, which is just completely ridiculous, isn't it? I don't think that you should be allowing teams to just throw themselves on the floor, constantly break the game up, constantly take like 30 seconds per free kick after getting fouled over and over again, or take a minute for a throw-in 10 times in a game without even getting a single book in for time wasting. And obviously we've got the issue with goalkeepers loving to put time waste by restarting the game really slowly as well. Obviously Emiliano Martinez from Aston Villa is a big advocate of time wasting at goal kicks. My dad's team I should say, is Aston Villa, and every time I watch Martinez, he's always trying to waste time from goal kicks and usually gets booked for it as well. So I think something that's definitely come into the mind's eye of the football community over the past few days especially. Jamie Carragher did a piece on it, I think. Was it in the overlap or was it on after one of the matches, where he was talking about how long throws and all of these older generational tactics, long balls and long throws are coming back in. And it's he said that it was potentially cheapening and worsening the quality of the game, which I could probably agree with. But I think the most prolific and annoying part of it for me is the time wasting. Because in my opinion, I think if Liverpool had an extra 10 or 15 minutes that they probably should have had from open play that they didn't have because of all the time wasting that has been going on from these long throw-ins by Brentford, that they could have potentially got back into the game. I mean, it was 3-2 at, 88 minutes. If you think if they had an extra 10 minutes, they could have potentially got back into that game. And with Liverpool winning or losing every game this season by 1 goal, these kinds of fine margins are really, really important. Obviously, I think there's been some dodgy decisions against Liverpool this season. There's no way that Van Dijk penalty was a penalty. There's no way the penalty against Galatasaray was a penalty. Definitely some very, very dodgy and weird decisions that have gone against Liverpool this season. But I definitely think that this set piece situation, and by extension of that, the time wasting and the lack of actual football being played in association with it, is a big issue. And I think it's definitely something that the Premier League need to look at. I think it was interesting that they gave a corner against Kelleher for holding the ball too long for Brentford. But then they didn't even address at all the amount of time that was being wasted by all these long throw-ins by Brentford at all. They didn't even, I don't think he even talked to their players, let alone actually book them for time wasting, which I think is really, really interesting. And it shows you the kind of state of mind of the referees. It's not even on their radar really in terms of time being wasted. But I think, in my opinion, if you're thinking about hierarchical values of football and what you want it to be, I think that you have to have the maximum amount of time of football being played on the pitch as possible. I think letting the game go, letting as many fouls go as you can, and getting the ball back into play as quickly as possible should be values that are really high up the list, so that you can see more football, watch more football. Like, there's no one that goes to a match and goes, I can't wait to see like 15 minutes of time wasted a game from long throw-ins. They're a bit of a spectacle after a while. They're a bit of a spectacle to begin with, but after a while, they just do start to, they just slow the game down. They make it quite boring. And obviously it's interesting seeing the ball being thrown into the mixer. But to be honest, I really don't think that it's helping the game. And there's a lot of people that seem to be agreeing that basically all the amount of time wasting that's being allowed, the amount of time that the ball's in play, definitely there's something that needs to be addressed going forward. And it's going to be interesting to see if the Premier League does anything about it, because quite clearly we're going to be having more and more set pieces, more and more of these long time wasting set pieces going on as time goes on, because they are effective for all these teams. Are the Premier League going to do anything about it? It's going to be interesting to see. As always, guys, thanks a lot for watching. Please do like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think they should do something about this, or do you think it's fine? As always, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.